But what's up, YouTube? Today we are talking about our interviews getting dull, boring, or trash. What are the vibes? I saw a Sean C clip on Twitter of him basically just saying like,
you know, I mean, I'm an interviewer. I know Meek Mill likes dirt bikes, or not dirt bikes, but whatever the bikes they be having in Philly are. I'm like, okay, let me take him on a dirt bike ride while I ask him questions about how he made this new album. You know what? Let's go to the most poppin' cheesesteak restaurant in my city just to see what, like, is it competing? Is it competing? Now, I know you can say it's riding as much as you want. I'm saying I know that takes way more effort, but that would be a far more entertaining thing to watch than to hear somebody ask you, well, who's your top 5? What was the process like going into this album? But the platforms that generally talk so much shit about these artists being complacent, when it comes to them and the responsibility that they should have in regards to giving the artists an entertaining platform to be entertaining on, they fall short almost every time.
I think over the years we've kind of heard rappers or like artists in general talk about like interview questions are getting bad. I remember a Nicki Minaj clip of her talking to Charlamagne and be like,
"What you want to hear when we come back, Nicki?"
Why y'all don't have the songs queued up though?
What we gotta pay bills first.
Okay, but I want to hear High School. I want to hear Hell Yeah. I want to hear I'm Legit. I want to hear Up in Flames.
That's only Queens right there.
You don't even know these songs. You guys do not clearly don't support me. Neither does Clue. But that's neither here nor there. But those are the songs that I would like y'all to play.
Envy, come on, be a real DJ.
I don't understand why I'm coming to radio and y'all don't even have my songs ready to be
Wait, hold on. That's the DJ. Look at Envy when you say all that.
Envy actually has the clean Roman Reloaded re-up album.
Thank you.
He does have
then
it.
let's start. Let's
We got to pay bills when we come back. Let's do it.
Well, that's the main focus.
And we have those records.
Yes.
That's the main focus of the kid coming to the radio.
Now.
When the kid come to the radio,
Now.
the kid comes to hear her songs on the radio.
That's right. Now I got Nicki back now. See the ball in this bitch. Now.
Power 105.
and I think it's always interesting to like hear these critiques about these like different interviewers or like different interviewing situations, because from my point of view, like I love interviews. I always like if a rapper that I like or artist that I like in general go to an interview with like the Breakfast Club or like people that I like, then I will like go check it out. Even if it's people that I don't really like, if it's an artist that I really, really like, I'll still go check it out. They're just sitting, talking, usually talking about the same old things. And to be honest, I think a lot of those interviews are the same questions over and over again. It's almost like you didn't do any research before you did that. So I really want to talk about this because I think it's a really interesting concept of like, how many new questions can you come up with for an interview? And a lot of these interviews are done around the same time, and they're all released around the same time. So sometimes I do give them the benefit of the doubt, or like, okay, maybe you just didn't know this question had already been asked. Like, yeah, it was asked in this interview, but maybe you didn't know because it was released around the same time. And so, yeah, I was just wondering, like, what were your guys' takes, your thoughts on interviews as a whole in terms of, like, the music industry and different interviewing platforms. I've definitely talked about it a lot, but like there are some interview platforms that I don't really like, some interview styles that I'm not a fan of, and yeah, so this video I just kind of wanted to go through a couple of those things. For instance, I think one interview style that I don't like, that I never want to see again, is like Vlad TV. I think No Jumper, and there's a few other podcasts that do it, but they kind of just focus on like gangster rap, like criminal activity within the rapper industry or like rappers' lives. And that's probably my least favorite style of interviewing, just like kind of to get like that shock factor, suburban view of gang culture, like the hood. That interview style I wish would be destroyed and thrown away. Okay, because I really don't think it's productive. I think in terms of like good questions, there's not really any good questions, especially with No Jumper in the past like 4 years. I don't think it's ever asked a productive question. Even their TikTok clips that I see, I'm like, wow, this was just like clickbaity. This was to get a reaction, maybe to get like rappers to kill each other, like start beefs. And it really just, it's like when articles have like crazy headlines. That's kind of what No Jumper is. It's like, oh, this rapper has beef with so-and-so, or this rapper shot at so-and-so. And then in the clip you'll get in there and he's like, no, Adam 22 is making the interview really awkward. Asking these like very personal questions, these like federal questions almost. And it's just crazy to me, bro. It's just real crazy. Same with Vlad TV. It's just ask questions like, this is what the people want to know. But it's like I had no idea that Whoop-de-Whoop shot at Flocky Flock. Like I have no idea that even happened. But now that Vlad is like shining a light on it, now I know that's happening, and like now things are heightened between these different rappers. And in that sense, that interviewing style to me is super dead. Super dead. Like I don't want to ever see that again, to be honest. Another interview style that I think is like actually good, because that's probably the only interviewing style that I don't really like. I mean, there's the generic like interview questions, like what is your process? What are your inspirations? What'd you do different this album? Like those questions are always like very rudimentary, very boring. And yeah, so I don't necessarily like those basic interview questions are just like bound to happen. I think those interviewers just, I guess, don't care about the artist, or maybe like don't think that deeply into like their questions. But I do think there are some really good interviewing platforms. I think Kids Take Over, great interviewer. The Real Ones, I love them. They always have some good interview questions. Their energy is always really good in those interviews too. Very fun. I think Zane Lowe has some really good interviews. I think he actually asks very good interview questions, and it specifically is usually about the process, which I think can get very like surface level, but he dives very deep into it. So I really like that. And there's probably a lot of other interviewers that I like to watch, but I just can't think of right now. I think what those interviewers do that I think is like different from what like Sean C is saying, or like the premise that interviewers are getting boring, is they just, one, their questions aren't usually super surface level. They either have a sense of humor about them, or they'll be very deep, they'll be introspective, they'll be more about the thought process with the artist. And I think that is always really good to see. I hope whenever I do interviews that is kind of like the energy that I'll give. Maybe keep it lighthearted, but also introspective and ask good questions. I've done one interview so far with Dende. He was nice enough to grace me with my first interview, and yeah, I think there was a lot of things that I could have learned that I did learn from doing that interview. It's really hard, like on the spot, remembering all your questions, remember how you're getting there. So I think one thing is just being prepared, being ready. My car got towed that time that I did it, so I didn't have my camera or like anything. So I was really on the spot. Shout out to Ariane for recording that. That was super clutch because we didn't have a camera, so they just had to record on their phone. So I was really just very on the spot kind of. And I had to record the audio with my phone, so I couldn't have my questions up, and like these things just kind of happen sometimes, and you just kind of gotta adapt. So if you ever are thinking about interviewing and you're like, what's the worst case scenario? It happened to me damn near. So don't ever be discouraged. I still got my interview. It was like a 5-minute quick little thing after a show. It was a great time, great energy, great dude. So I think as like me interviewing my first time, I definitely understand asking those kind of basic questions. I mean, I definitely asked like, what was the process going into this album? Like, how do you choose your beats? Are you like more on the production side, mixing? Things like that. So I definitely understand those kind of basic, rudimentary questions. And I had watched some Dene interviews as well, and all of those were good questions. But looking back, I think maybe I could have dived deeper in like this area and maybe talked about this album a little bit more. And one thing I want to do when I do start interviewing, I want us to do like more of a chicken shop. If you guys have seen that, it has that white lady on there where she like takes them on like chicken dates. And I don't want to take nobody on no date, but in the sense of like you're doing an activity or there's like a theme setting. Kind of adds to the ambiance. It makes it not as boring to the viewer to watch. I really like her interviews too because they're kind of fun, spunky, feel like spontaneous because like it feels like she's asking random questions. Another interviewing style that I think got really old really fast, I think Bobby Altoff. I do actually kind of like her style when she's acting like she knows the person. I think it's cool to be like kind of that off-putting, kind of awkward, weird type of style, but I think when you start disrespecting the guests, it becomes kind of weird. I think Offset like cooked her. Like I think after the Offset incident, like she should have strayed away from that. But I just saw a clip of Wiz Khalifa and her, and I was like, we're still doing this.
So what do you do for a living?
My life is like literally revolves around my kid. I work for him.
You work for him?
Yeah.
What's his job?
No, I'm saying like I go to work so he can.
Oh, I thought you meant you like work for him.
Like
Well, that's actually what you said. So of course I thought you meant that.
He's the purpose that I work. He's the reason. He's the reason why I work.
That's a better way to say it.
That's why I go to work.
Well, you don't. Yeah, but you don't work for your son.
My son inspires me to work.
So disrespecting, act like we don't know who it is. When you reach out to them for an interview, it's just kind of off-putting, to be honest. But I've seen like Funny Marco, like when she did that interview, I think what made that so great is she knew who that was, and she was still being kind of awkward, and that kind of came off funny and like slightly uncomfortable. And I think as an interviewer, like you kind of have to find your personality, like your flow, and I think with Bobby Altop specifically, I don't know, this video is kind of getting like all over the place. I think when Sean C's saying like interviewers are getting boring, I think he's necessarily like probably not looking in the right places. There's definitely most of the interviews that you watch are going to be very boring. I think that's just the nature of things. Like most music you listen to is going to be boring or like not interesting. But there's definitely some gems, and if you focus on the gems, you kind of forget about the bad interviewers, right? Like I don't really watch any bad interviewers right now because I just know who I like. I've curated kind of like a taste for the interviews that I enjoy. So I think that's definitely like needed. I think if you're just going out there looking up interviews, you're gonna find most of them are not that good. Nardwuar, another great interviewer that I just thought of. He has a very unique approach to interviews. He kind of created his own type of interview where he gets like all this background information, like surprises you. Like he innovated that style, and that is so interesting to me. So shout out Nardwuar. I love his stuff. I've always been a fan, will always be a fan of Nardwuar. He just seems so wholesome, and his energy is just so good, especially when he's like interacting with all these artists. And he's been disrespected multiple times, and he always just handles it with such a grace and care and love. So yeah, shout out Nardwuar. But yeah, so that was kind of my think piece on like the interviewing world. Is it getting bland? Is it getting boring? I don't think so. I think you just got to know what you like. It's like everything else with like, I think interviewing is an art. And I think it has like a pace and flow. So you just have to find what flow, pace, and what type of interviewing you like. I named kind of my favorites, so if you haven't seen them, I would check them out for sure. They're really interesting. They always ask good questions. But let me know who you like. Who's your favorite interviewer? Let me know down below. Let me know if you like the video. I appreciate criticism. I appreciate compliments too. So just, yeah, let me know. This is kind of the end of the video where I'm going to start talking about just random stuff happening in my life and what's going on. In general, what's going on with the channel, what's going on with us, what's happening. And so if you want to stay for that, you can, but if not, it's all good. I still appreciate you. So no new updates really with the channel. I think we're kind of slowly increasing on YouTube and TikTok. YouTube's been doing really well, actually. I'm getting a lot more comments, I think, a lot more views just in general. Nothing like off the charts, like 1 million views or something, but like a couple of my videos now have gotten like 1,000 views, and it's kind of like led me to want to do more like think pieces, or where I'm just kind of yapping, like video essays type stuff, because I think that's very engaging. Even when I go and like watch my videos, I sometimes go and like watch them back, see what I like and what I dislike. And the video essays I definitely enjoy more than I think my reactions. So I'm gonna keep my reactions to probably just my TikTok clip channel and my Twitch channel, because I'm gonna react on Twitch and then cut that up to clips and then upload it. So I think that'll be just really easy and quick to do. So yeah, I'm probably done with reactions on YouTube unless y'all want it. Let me know. I might create a separate channel or something, or kind of figure something out around that. But I really like doing these video essays. And the next phase of my channel, I'm really excited for that. It's going to be video essays with like some vlog stuff. I don't want to necessarily give the idea away because I want to do like a trailer and like do kind of cool stuff with it. I kind of want to have like a rollout almost. But yeah, it's going to be like kind of vlog and video essays. I think that's going to be like the two things that I want to focus on. And they're going to be music related, so don't even worry. It's still going to be a music related channel. But just stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, nothing really crazy. Nothing really crazy. Yeah, I streamed today again. So I've been streaming pretty consistently now, like 3 times a week, 2 times a week. That's kind of like where I'm leaning right now because I can't stream every day. I have a job. I work 40 hours a week, which is tough. It's real tough. If I could not do that, that'd be great. So that's why I want to get this channel like popping for real. But you can't rush greatness. You know what I'm saying? I always try to rush greatness. I think in life in general, I always try to rush things. I know where I should be or where I want to be, and sometimes I think I deserve to be there instantly. And life has humbled me every day and being like, oh, you're not ready for that yet. You haven't built up to that yet. And I think everybody has that kind of process, so I need to get used to that kind of humbling. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of like you're not ready for 1 million views yet on YouTube. Like you're not ready for that. You can't maintain that yet. So, life is definitely humbling me, and like I need to like just have perspective on like where I'm at. Like I'm doing good, we're doing good, things are flowing. Because I always expect everything to happen in an instant, and that's just not how life works. So yeah, so that's kind of my introspective motivational thought right now. But as always, man, if you like the content, please send me a like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the video. Please check out my other platforms. I got them over here. And as always, man, I love you guys and appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for always tuning in. Peace out. Be smooth.